National Signing Day is officially here, and we have a big decision to make. For those of you who don't know, this is Charles Boone. He's a 6'3" defensive lineman out of Wisconsin. He was an absolute stud in high school. He made massive plays. He made a name for himself, as you can see by the offers on the table. He has an offer from Florida, an offer from Wisconsin, and an offer from Notre Dame. These are all interesting for their own reasons. Florida, because it's an SEC team. Who doesn't want to play football in the SEC? It's been known for a long time that it's arguably the best conference in all of college football. Wisconsin, it's his hometown team. He grew up not far from Wisconsin. He loves watching them play. They are the team that he grew up idolizing. And then you got Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a global brand. Everybody around the U.S. and honestly the world knows who Notre Dame is. They're a dominant power in college football, and they have an amazing coach and facilities. This leaves Charles with a very tough decision to make. He has to pick from three incredible schools that all offer very different things that he wants to experience. And he's also experiencing outside pressure from friends, family, and things of that nature, especially with Wisconsin being a local team and people wanting him to go there. But that doesn't mean he's going to pick them. In fact, Wisconsin's the first team he's going to get rid of. He's not going to go to Wisconsin. So that leaves him with Florida, and then that leaves him with Notre Dame. Two very good schools. You can't really go wrong either way. He picks up the Notre Dame hat, but he puts it right back down. Turns out he's not planning on going to Notre Dame. And that really leaves him with one option. And I'm sure you guys can see the option he's picking now. Charles decided to go to the University of Florida. He decided that he couldn't pass up on an opportunity to play football in the SEC. It's a dominant conference. He's going to make a name for himself. He's going to grow as a person. He's going to grow as a player. He's going to meet so many people. He's going to learn so many things he never thought he could about the sport of football and the game of life. Now that Charles is finally on campus, we can finally see him in that beautiful Florida Gator uniform. 92 looks perfect on him. I couldn't pick a better number myself. We see that he's a 68 overall, so he has a lot of work to do. He's a third ranked on the depth chart, so he's got a lot to do before he can even see the field. He understands that. And it's going to be one of those uphill battles for him, but that's okay. I think he's accepted that challenge by committing to Florida. Week 1 hit Charles like a rock. He went from being the big guy in Wisconsin to a third-string D lineman when he got to Florida. He went from dominating reps in games to losing reps to third-stringers in practice. He knew it was going to be a long road till he could get his first start, but I don't know if he knew the ups and downs that would come with that long road. None of that mattered when he got to walk out onto the swamp for the first time. Walking out the tunnel, hitting the gator, watching everybody do the chomp. It was certainly a moment he would remember. Every athlete has dreamed of the moment where they can run out onto the field for the first time in front of 100,000 people. It was a moment Charles had to look around and really take in for him to be able to enjoy that moment. That moment was really short-lived by Charles as South Alabama would go on to beat Florida in the swamp somehow. That's your typical road to glory loss, honestly. I'm not going to blame that much on anybody except for the sim. But either way, you have to move on from it and go forward. After the game, Brad White texted us and he asked us if we would want to watch some film. Obviously, we said yes, especially after a loss like that. And it was a perfect opportunity to get on the coach's good side. We wanted him to think that we're here, we're ready, we're preparing, and we're doing everything that we can to get better every day. After that, we were back in practice. We were losing reps to offensive linemen that we didn't stand a chance against, but it didn't really matter. We were still getting reps in. We're still getting better. And we're still trying to learn new techniques, new things that we can do to win each rep. It might not have worked today. It might not work tomorrow, but ideally by the end of the season, by the end of the career, it'll all be worth the grind, the struggle, and the frustration right now. Heading into week 2, we were able to walk out the tunnel in the swamp once again. Same experience, same chills, same thrill. Crowd was a little less because of the South Alabama loss, but the view was the same for us. We looked from the sideline, and this time we were fortunate enough to watch Florida win against an FCS East team that, honestly, if we lost to, we'd have bigger problems at play. After that game, I realized Dabo Sweeney was our coach when he asked us if we would do a community service event. Just kidding, he told us. And then obviously I gave the polite answer yes, because I don't want to get on Dabo's bad side. He's the head coach. I mean, come on. After that, we got a message from this girl, Audrey. She apparently went to high school with us. She doesn't know who we are. That's a little bit offensive, but I'm going to act like it didn't bother me. Either way, she said she wants to go to a party with us. Obviously, being a college person, Charles is going to say yes. He's going to skip the lab. He's going to take the risk, and he's going to go to the party with a girl. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, it'd be a little bit weird to pass up on that opportunity and not take the risk and to go to class. So I'm not going to judge him for that. She ended up liking us a little bit more after that. She realized we were pretty cool after all. Then Jalen Wiggins hits us up. He was like, hey, basically, I'm just going to stay in your room. I have to. I can't help it. Can you please make sure that I wake up in time tomorrow for practice? And, naturally, I think some people would think to, maybe sabotage him a little bit or let him sleep in so that they can get the upper hand on him. But we know his skill. We respect him. We want to learn from him. So we say, yeah, we're going to wake you up. We'll make sure you get to practice, my friend. Looking back on it, now I'm wishing I didn't wake up for practice. I mean, it's day after day. We go to practice. We get destroyed by upperclassmen. We watch our D lineman next to us succeed while we can't seem to get to the quarterback. We can't seem to make plays. We get thrown off blocks, thrown to the ground. It's just frustrating day after day, but it's something that we're eventually going to have to overcome. We then got to see the Swamp at night in our first SEC matchup as we took on South Carolina. We were hoping to see the field, but obviously, like all the games past, we did not see the field. And along with that, we honestly kind of got stomped by South Carolina at the end of the game, losing 24-10 and losing our first SEC game of the season. After the loss, we get a text from our academic advisor, Mary Porter, saying that somehow we got caught skipping our lab and it's going to affect our GPA, which is kind of bullcrap. To add on to the bullcrap, we then again have practice. Charles is really starting to get sick of practice at this point. It's the same thing every day, as I previously mentioned, but it's not getting any better, which Charles thought it would at this point. And this is where frustration's really starting to build. He's really starting to question himself. He's really starting to lose confidence. He doesn't know if he can do this long term. He doesn't know if Florida is right for him. He's got a lot of question marks right now with zero answers. On the bright side, we were able to upgrade our overall from 68 to 69, which is honestly probably the first glimmer of hope we've had all season. Week 4 would bring us a really boring game against Missouri where we somehow won with a weird score of 15-7. I don't know how that happened because I wasn't on the field. I'm sure you guys guessed it, but more practice was on its way, and we continued to get tossed around like a rag doll by stronger men, better players, better athletes, and once again, Charles is in his head wondering if he's in the right situation. He's thinking, maybe I belong in a MAC school, maybe I belong in the CUSA. I don't know if I belong in Florida. Hopefully he gets his confidence back pretty soon, otherwise it's going to be a really long season. On a positive note, Florida was able to get an upset win against a ranked Arizona on the road. And this is a big moment because up to this point, Florida hadn't really beaten anybody. They beat Missouri and a crappy FCS team, so this was a big moment for them. They would then rip off another win against Vandy back in the Swamp, which would then give them their second win in SEC play and put them over 500. After the Vandy game, things really started to change for Charles as he took a look at the depth chart as you're seeing right here, and he realized there really wasn't that much of a gap between him and second on the depth chart, and he realized he was really going to start to make a push to try to move up the depth chart and put him in a better position for the rest of the season. Charles then got a text from Dabo Swinney saying how happy the staff was with his performance recently, and this further solidified the fact that he had a chance to move up that depth chart. So for the first time all season, Charles actually looked forward to practice. He wanted to go out there. He wanted to try to prove himself. He wanted to try to make a name for himself on the team and earn the respect of the coaches and the players. On top of that, Charles got an upgrade in overall, going from a 69 to a 70 overall. Florida would go on to lose to Arkansas that week, which sucks, but Charles wouldn't really be worried about that come Monday. The reason being, he got himself a position battle. He knew it was his time to shine. He had to go out there. He had to give it his all this week. This was the moment for Charles. He then saw a text from Swinney saying, hey, we're going to have to stay a little bit late after practice, basically telling him he had a position battle and it was his for the taking. This is easily the biggest opportunity Charles has had since he got on campus. He has a chance to become a second on the depth chart and make a name for himself. It's easily the biggest practice he's had since he got on campus, and he needs to make sure he focuses, he gives it his all, and he does everything he can to prove he is the one for the second spot on the depth chart, as you can see him doing right there, winning the first drill. He goes into the second drill. He makes himself stand out. It does get a little bit dicey later on because our defense decided they didn't want to show up. They didn't want to help out. I don't know if they don't like Charles at this point because they really were showing that they wanted him to lose. But eventually he would figure it out. He would somehow find a way to win that drill and essentially win the position battle up to that point. But afterwards, you really want to go ahead. You want to go that second level, and you want to make sure you collect all the coach trust that you can and basically make it a flying success. You know, you want to succeed with flying colors. And so that's kind of what Charles was doing up to this point. He goes into that last drill where he's facing the two offensive linemen. Starts off a little bit. Actually, it starts off great, but it does get a little bit dicey, but it didn't really matter because he had already won the position battle. And just like that, Charles is seeing exactly what he'd been dying to see, a position battle won. He's moved to right edge, but he's second on the depth chart now. He got 600 coach trust, and he is firmly on his way to seeing the field. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like. And please, honestly, most importantly, come back for next episode where Charles will make his first appearance of the season against Oklahoma in Oklahoma. It's going to be a massive game. I'm super excited for it, and I hope you guys are as well.